Hello, welcome to this program where we are talking about ourselves. When I say ourselves, I refer to the whole world. And today with me, I have a person who believes that there is possibility of building a noble world. He has accounting background, but his journey of self-discovery led him to a lot of experiences with which he is convinced that the world could be improved and we all could become a part and parcel of the process of building a noble world. With such ideas, he has come up with a book called Building a Noble World. Mr. Shiv R. Jhawar is with me from Chicago today. I have the pleasure of welcoming Shivji. Namaskar.
I'm very honored to be here to be able to share my thoughts on building the noble world, the book which has come out this year.
Tell us, in your view, what is it that you would consider as a noble world?
Noble world, let me first define what I mean by world. Individuals make the families. Families make the society. Society makes the nation. And nations make the world. So when I say world, I really mean individual. To change the world, we have to change the individual first. If an individual becomes noble, world will become noble automatically. So, idea in my book is building a noble world through changing the mind of a human being. A mind has human weaknesses. As we are born, we have anger, we have lust, we have hatred, we have jealousy, we have greed, we have pride. If they can be removed from the mind, the person will become noble. So idea behind noble world is that a person has to become noble by cleaning the inner mind. Yes.
Shivya, I was going to interrupt you because these things and these ideas come to us from different people through different books, and very few people are convinced that these ideas can be communicated effectively. And as I was telling you, there are many books about similar ideas. So let me take the opportunity of asking you, why did you feel that one more book on this subject would be effectively helping you in attaining this objective?
Yes, thank you for this question. You know what happened on 9/11. We know the violence, the terrorism, the conflicts. So if the books would have achieved it, there was no need for another book. As long as there is no peace in the world, we need the books, we need the talks, we need the inspiration. And my book does not talk really about the peace as we know it. For example, there was a peace between World War I and World War II. Would you call it peace or a preparation for another war? So, peace to me has two aspects. One is temporary peace, another is permanent peace. And my book refers to the inner peace, the permanent peace, which is coming independent of tuning, getting into the heart level, the deepermost level of the inner being. So once one gets an experience of this inner spirit, the life changes.
Shivji, there are two dimensions, I would say, mainly, which you have touched upon in your book. One deals with the way we see the world in terms of nations and boundaries of nations and differences between nations. And there I would refer to the idea of Indian Union as has been raised by you, wherein you probably suggest that as European Union there should be Indian Union. And another dimension refers to the spiritual development of man. So let's talk about the first idea, which is Indian Union, and how do you feel that's going to help in the overall equation or equilibrium of peace in the whole world, and how will it be useful for that South Asian region?
You know, in South Asia, we have desperate poverty. Now, we want that India should get united, but not like United States of America. It should be united more like European Union, where all countries have alliance to form a union for economic prosperity and stability. So, to make it simple, I give you by analogy, there is an apartment building. You have so many different apartments. So one can be in different apartments, recognizing its own culture, own religion, own traditions. So Pakistan would remain independent, Bangladesh would remain independent, sovereignty will not be disturbed at all. So that's the idea taken from European Union pattern, that we have different languages, different religions, different traditions, so we can keep and respect that culture and the religion. At the same time, we get united. Just like in an apartment building, we will need only one security guard. We don't need security guard for every apartment. So these days, as I have put in the book, $20 billion we spend every year in defense in the subcontinent, Indian subcontinent. That money would be saved because there would not be that need, because of democratic way it would be constituted. Now, another point is that we have Kashmir problem for a long time, for 58 years. Now, that solution would be so close once this Indus Union is created. When I say Indus Union, I am using the word from Indus Valley civilization.
Shivji, allow me to request
Yes.
you to share some of the thoughts as you have written in the book, and may I have the opportunity
Yes.
of listening to you read some parts from your book. And which portion are you taking up?
I'm going to take on section proposing an Indus Union, and let me read. If Europe can have one euro currency, why cannot Asia? Following the pattern of the European Union, it is time to unify the economics of India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, the Maldives, Myanmar, known as Burma until 1989, and others that were once an integral part of India into an Indus Union. Southern Asia can become unified just as Europe has become unified as the European Union. Southern Asia can prosper immensely by working toward a common currency, visa, trade, and transportation system. This will dramatically lessen its defense expenditure, bringing peace and prosperity to the Indian subcontinent. The cultural bonds among South Asians, shaped through millennia of history, are much stronger than their superficial religious and ethnic differences. If the Indus Union became a reality, production could be expected to easily support the current population. With a combined population of over 1.4 billion people, China 1.3 billion, world 6.3 billion, these neighboring nations together would become the world's largest consumer market, attracting unprecedented levels of commerce and investment from foreign countries. The introduction of a common currency, say Indo, will enable people services, investments, and products to move freely among the participating countries.
Very good. It sounds quite impressive, and looks like there is a vision of how things can be improved. And when I say vision, and we were earlier talking, and you said that the inner transformation of an individual is what this book is mainly concerned about. And having said that, I have seen that you have dedicated this book to Baba Muktananda. And tell us, how was it for you to have come into contact with this saint, and how that influenced your life?
Yes, that is really what created this book. To tell you the truth, the gratitude I felt, this book is the token of that gratitude. And what is this gratitude? I came to America for my master's degree in accounting. I went to University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. And once I had a degree, I came to Chicago, and that's the time when I was looking for a job. I happened to hear that Swami Muktananda will be giving a talk at Northwestern University auditorium in Chicago. So on September 1374, I went to see him. And then next day also I met him, and he suggested that I take a program of his on September 16 at Lake Point Tower in Chicago. So on September 16th, I took the program. Now, my whole experience is given in chapter 4.
Let me read the title of your chapter 4, which is called Shakti Path, the way of spirituality. And Shakti Path is the term which many people are familiar, and many of us do not really know what it is. So would you mind telling what is it that you call as Shakti Path?
Shakti Path means path of Shakti, descending the power or energy. So Guru initiates the disciple by Shakti Path. This is nothing but a divine initiation which exists in every religion. But in Tantric, in yoga, it is termed as Shakti Path. It is more like an injection, which is shot, and it goes throughout your body. So something that gives birth. Another way to explain Shakti Path is like giving a birth. Just like a mother gives birth, a child is born. Only when the birth is given, the mother comes into existence. There is no such thing called Guru unless and until someone receives the Shakti or birth from that particular Guru. We can meet an individual who may be called Guru, but he or she is not our Guru unless and until we receive the Shakti Path from that Guru.
Quoting from this chapter, let me read two lines here where you have quoted Baba Muktananda, who said, Shakti Path is a wonderful and mysterious spiritual process in which the Guru showers the energy of his own soul on the disciple. Without the grace of the Siddhas, Shakti Path cannot take place. Now this showering of Guru's energy is something which very few people can actually understand.
Yes.
You have understood it and probably experienced it also, and you have also shared it in your own way, and I have come to know that you have often given lectures at different places. People have asked you questions about how they can reach their own self, and you do mention about yoga a lot in this book.
Yes.
So how do you think yoga or yoga abhyas or practice of yoga can also help in attaining this concept of noble world?
Yoga means the union. And unless we get united internally and get the experience of the male and female aspects, which is in every human being, there is no possibility of this experience. So we have outside love that is dependent on other people, But this love or yoga or union is completely independent. Once this yoga is experienced inside, that person's life changes automatically and the person becomes noble. His or her lifestyle then changes. So the way to world peace, the way to noble world is really at the individual level. And meditation on the inner self is the way. It's like a flower, a rose. Rose will always give fragrance, whether a beggar comes or a king comes. Same way, when a person is very peaceful inside, no matter what happens outside, the person will spread his peace and happiness to others. And that in turn will create noble world.
Very well said. And let me quote, or rather share, you have extensively quoted different philosophers and as well as scientists, and you say here somewhere that the more I know, the more I realize I do not know.
Yes.
That's what Einstein said. And you also have mentioned that Ram Tirtha's quotation, men are not influenced by things, but by their thoughts about things.
Yes.
So it's very important what kind of thoughts we have about things which are around us. And the little time that we have, I would like you to share with us the foundation that you have established, Noble World Foundation. What are its objectives and how our viewers can also become involved with this foundation?
Yes, the book is copyrighted by Noble World Foundation. It's a non-profit organization. And from people, really, nothing is expected at this time. All I can say in the name of expectation, the people, is that they read the book. And as I referred to before, that this book is the result of my gratitude to my master. And in that gratitude, there is some vibration, some peace, some serenity that would be also experienced by the reader. So it's not only just the book with the knowledge, which is given with the authoritative quotations from the great masters, and whatever I have written, I have supported it by the views, by the statements of our Vedas and the spiritual masters who represent the Vedas. So, perception which you are talking, this is the main point. The people perceive. Ya drishti sa srishti, said Vasistha. World is as you see it. So everyone has perception. To me, the world was created noble in the first place because God would not create anything which is not great or noble. Such an intelligence cannot create something less than noble. So where is the problem? Problem is how we look at. Let's say I have these eyeglasses and they are yellow. When I look at people, they will look yellow. It's not because people are yellow, it's the glasses. So problem is that our own mind has some weaknesses, and unless and until they are removed, we cannot enjoy the beauty of the nature, the flowers, the river, the trees, the sunrise, the sunset. The world is really noble. It's beautiful. And all we need is the peace. And this peace can only come by reading a noble book, or being with a noble person, or thinking about a noble person.
So on that note, there is potential of reconnecting with the inner joy and peace in the book called Building a Noble World, written by Shiv R. Jhawar, who is embracing the whole world in his own way, and he could also rekindle a sense of that inspiration which brings a lot of light and joy. Nice knowing you, Shivaji,
yes,
once again.
It's my pleasure.
And I hope you also enjoyed being with this gentleman who is really alive to the world around him. And we all look forward to this building of a noble world process. My guest today was Shiv R. Jhawar, and this is Ashok Vyas, thanking you for being with us. Namaste.